to here. Here we go. So we're in Chrome and we are looking at, this is Mythic Spoiler. Normally I would go with Scryfall, but Scryfall are a little bit late updating at the moment, so they have very few of the cards there so far. So we're going to have a look here at the first thing that they have listed on their list is the 5 commanders for the new commander set. So normally I'm not mad on commander. It's not normally my thing. Some of these look really sweet though, and might absolutely convince me to get more into it. So let's do a quick run through of the different ones. So this is Otrimi the Ever Playful, 3 Unsultai colors for a 6/6 Nightmare Beast with Mutate, 1 black, green and blue. We'll get to Mutate in a moment. But it's got Trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, return target creature card with Mutate from your graveyard to your hand. So this is just going to go hard in on the Mutate mechanic, which this is the first time I'm going to be talking about it on stream, so I'll explain what it does. So if you cast this spell for its Mutate cost, you put it over or under target non-human creature you own. They mutate into the creature on top plus all abilities from under it. So if, for example, I had a 3/3 with flying, and I mutated Otrimi the Ever Playful onto the 3/3 flyer, what'll happen is it will so they mutate into the creature on top. So they will. It's very hard. It's like the rules aren't fully clear on it yet, but it seems like it will turn into whatever one that you place on top, and whatever one is underneath, that is the one that it gets the abilities from. It's strange. I think it takes the stats from the one on top and the abilities from the one below, as well as the abilities on top. But basically, you're kind of stacking creatures together. It's almost like Bestow in a way. It's weird and it's interesting. Yes, I do believe it has all abilities, Barnseye. Welcome along, by the way. I'd say you're probably hyped about some of these, right? I've seen you bopping around on Twitter a bit. It takes the name and mana cost from the creature above. Right, okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to be doing, I don't know if you missed this at the start, but I'm basically just going to be flying through the spoilers very quickly here and just sort of pointing at the notable things. And then after a couple of games, we're going to come back in once people have a chance to sort of get into the stream and have a look. So if you're watching this on YouTube or as a VOD on Twitch, you can skip ahead a little bit to keep up with the in-depth part of the spoilers, basically. So yeah, then we have Dureena Kudrow, which is 1 and Mardu for a 3/3 human soldier. When she enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token for each time you've cast a commander from the command zone this game. So it's not necessarily just yourself. So she could be in the 100, or she could be in the 99 and have your commander as a different commander. That works too. And other humans you control get +2/+0. It's pretty sweet. We'll go into like finer detail with this later on. But then we have Cala the Storm Sire, and despite this is Temur, and normally I quite like Temur, I'm not really feeling this one, which is strange for me because it involves instant spells. But 1 and Temur colors for a 4/4 Elemental Dinosaur, which by itself is badass. But whenever you cast your first instant spell each turn, if Cala the Storm Sire is tapped, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. And whenever you copy an instant spell, you put a +1/+1 counter on Cala. So you could probably just go crazy with pump spells or something, maybe. Would be the first thing my mind jumped to anyway. But then we have Cathril Aspect Warper, 2 and Abzan mana for a 3/3 Nightmare Insect. And when they enter the battlefield, you put a flying counter on any creature you control if a creature card in your graveyard has flying. And you repeat this process like, is it Odric? Repeat this process for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. Then put a +1/+1 counter on Cathril for each counter put on a creature this way. Yeah, this could be really cool. This could be like a weird keyword tribal kind of job with graveyard synergies. Seems sweet. Then we have the Gavin Verhey card, because it has Gavin literally in the name. Gavi Nest Warden, so it's the Gavin Nest card. 2 and Jeskai for a 2/5 human shaman, and this is the one I'm psyched about. You may pay 0 rather than pay the cycling cost of the first card you cycle each turn. And then whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 red and white dinosaur cat creature token. So yes, dinosaur cat. And also, yeah, giving like a new, a weaker new perspectives kind of job. That is sweet. That is really sweet. And then also just being a token generator. Like, I want to build a cycling deck that seems like it's a lot of fun, an awful lot of fun. I've never played a cycling deck in Commander, but this definitely seems like one I'd want to play. You didn't even get that? Yeah, this is the one that Gavin Verhey was talking about recently, where he said that he was looking forward to this set the most because one of the cards in it has his name in it, like Marrow does on Marrow. But yeah, so they're the commanders. They seem really sweet. I do believe the spoilers are still ongoing for the commander sets, as is the rest of Ikoria. So let's just jump up. I'm going to flick through some stuff here. So if I don't talk about any of the cards here right now, don't worry. I will talk about them when we get to the full spoiler section later on. But we do have a bit of Magic to play. So we'll do a quick speed run through first. So we have a couple of interesting things. Karuga the Macro Sage, 5 mana for 4/4 or 5/4. Sorry, Dinosaur Hippo. They're quite cute and chonky, but they have Companion. So Companion basically means that it starts outside of you can have it start outside of the game, but it has a deck building restriction. That if you fulfill all the restrictions, you are able to start with the Companion in your quote-unquote command zone. It's outside the game. It's exiled in a way, but not, similar to how adventures are, kind of, but not really. But it's weird. It's almost like command zone in constructed formats, sort of. Allow me to explain it a little bit better. In constructed formats, it will lie in your sideboard, basically. But so what this does is it has Companion. So you, in order to fulfill the Companion part, so you can have it as an additional card that you can automatically access at the start of the game, your starting deck can contain only cards with converted mana cost 3 or greater and land cards. So first thing that pops into my mind is Temur Adventures. Play this and then just don't, or like some sort of Temur Tempo kind of flash thing, and just run Brazen Borrower, Lovestruck Beast, Bone Crusher Giant, that kind of thing, because they're all 3 CMC or higher, but they have spells tacked onto them that don't count towards the cards with CMC 3 or greater, or whichever. Jessica Fires might like it as well, yeah, for sure. And when it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control with converted mana cost 3 or greater, which is quite sweet. That is a real nice way to refill late game. But yeah, and then we have a bunch of other stuff. One thing that I don't think people have really been looking at, but I kind of like this idea, is Luka Coppercoat Outcast. Okay, Luka is 3 red for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. Exile the top 3 cards of your library for the +1. Creature cards exiled this way gain. You may cast this card from exile as long as you control a Luka planeswalker. -2 is exile target creature you control, then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card with higher converted mana cost. Put the card into the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And then -7 is each creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. So the big thing here is the -2. Right, even in standard alone, right, you can run some sort of like mono red control kind of thing, or Izzet control, or whatever you want, right? With only like the one type of creature in it, which would be like say Drekuzet, Maw of Flames, the big 7/7 dragon that when it attacks it machine guns everything. You can play Dwarven Mine, the land that when you have 3 mountains, it comes in untapped and creates a 1/1 dwarf. And then with Luka, you just -2 on the dwarf and get Drekuzet, which I think is quite sweet. That's something I'll be trying anyway, for sure. That's the first thing that came to my mind. You can obviously, try and turbo this out in Modern and just run Emrakul. It's just another way to do like a Through the Breachy kind of job as well, or a Polymorph kind of deck. It's basically just the same kind of thing. It's just extra redundant sort of stuff. Another thing to point out as well, Vivian Monsters Advocate, 3 green for a 3 loyalty planeswalker. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. +1 creates a 3/3 green beast. You put your choice of a Vigilance, Reach, or Trample counter on it. Now, this is a thing as well. Counters are more of a thing. So instead of giving something Trample until end of turn, or Reach until end of turn, or Flying, or whatever it is, they now get counters. Well, they can get counters. Some things still give until end of turn, but counters basically means that they stay there, which basically means they're more powerful, which is quite sweet. But it says, as the -2, when you cast your next creature spell this turn, search your library for a creature card with lesser converted mana cost, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. So you could put this in probably as a, like, somewhere in like a, there's actually, thinking of it now, the best place for this is probably in Modern. There is a Gruul Kiki-Jiki combo deck that plays like a sort of mid-rangey deck or whatever, but with a lot of creatures, so this would be relevant. It would have a nice number of applications there. But the -2 is whenever you cast Kiki-Jiki, you just search your library for I can't remember the name of it. It's a 3 mana creature from, I think it's Throne of Eldraine, that when it enters the battlefield, you untap target creature, and you basically just have Splinter Twin. That's an option as well. That's quite good. This just increases redundancy on that, so that's nice. That deck is cool. It plays like a Gruul mid-range deck, but it doesn't have the consistency because it doesn't have blue. But this could help increase that consistency in some way to get that combo if it needs it. Yeah. Now, like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna have to start powering through this because so much came out in the last 24 hours. So much. We have actual factual Godzilla. The leaks were true. Now, how this works is these cards. I'm sure if anyone has seen this yet, these cards are not new unique cards. They are cards that are already in. I'm just gonna click on Godzilla because it's obscured by myself. It's actually Zilortha Strength Incarnate is the name of the card, but they have promo versions that are from the Toho film company in Japan that came up, that released the likes of Godzilla and Mothra and all that kind of stuff, and you'll see this. So this is, it's technically not Godzilla, it's Zilortha, but they have promo versions that say they are, basically, but they're the exact same card. But what's sweet about it is if you like Godzilla, you can now make a Godzilla commander deck and it be piloted by or headed up by actual Godzilla, so that's nice. So yeah, that's cool. That's another part I really like about this. Luminous Broodmoth is the one that is Mothra, and it's 2 white for a 3/4 insect with flying, and whenever a creature you control without flying dies, you return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. That's quite sweet. Do that. There's a number of different combos you can do with this and Solemnity, because Solemnity means that your creatures can't get counters. So one that showed up on Twitter yesterday was with Fanatical Firebrand. You can just keep sacrificing it for infinite life or infinite damage. You can include a sack outlet like what's it called? If you have a sack outlet and you say like what's the one that came into Modern recently? Altar of Dementia, and a creature and the what's it called? Solemnity. You'll be able to infinitely mill all your opponents and stuff. There's a load of all your friends. I mean, mill all your friends. But yeah, so that's cool. I quite like this Dranith Stinger. I know it's only a common, but we're playing Pauper here, so this is worth mentioning. It's 2 mana for a 2/2 human wizard, but whenever you cycle another card, bearing in mind cycle, not cycle or discard, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and has cycling for 1, which is pretty sweet. I quite like that myself. Viscera's here to scry your whole deck, yep, or Ashnod's Altar, Phyrexian Altar for infinite mana. Yeah, there's a million different ways in which you can do it. You could just put all that into like a Mardu deck, and that'd be pretty sweet. We have a bunch of other stuff. If anybody wants to know, by the way, my opinion and my thoughts on this card in particular, you can go to Twitter. You can look at my Twitter, right? Just I don't want to go into it. It hurts too much. My poor son. We have some sweet cheap cyclers that are actually huge chonkers. This is going to be really, really good for a budget living end deck in Modern. Just cycle this away for 2 mana, and then at some point you just get it back and it's an 11/11 Trampler. Yes, please. Yeah, some really sweet stuff. Seb McKinnon's been killing it already. It's only been a day, and he already has like 3 or 4 cards out that all look stunning, like this Essence Scatter here. Yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff. We have basically King Kong over here. Arcane Signet has been shown there. It's obviously being reprinted in the Commander decks, which is quite nice. I quite like this Voracious Great Shark. It's got flash, so I like it, but it's also a fucking shark. So when it hits the battlefield, you counter target artifact or creature spell as well, which is quite nice. Tricolor Mana Rocks, but with cycling. Yes, I was just actually scrolling up to those. Here, these are quite nice. These are very, very sweet for Commander. Even just as budget options. But even then, like, I think these are better than budget options than just budget options, because you don't ever want to go and like top deck a Mana Rock late game where you're trying to find something to keep in the game or something to close it out or something, and then you just pull a Mana Rock and you're like, play mana, let's go. You know, this you can just loot it away. It's all good, you know. So that's cool. Yeah, I think here's some of the other Seb McKinnon pieces that he's absolutely killing it with. But yeah, that's basically what's come out so far. I will go into further detail after we've played a couple of games. But in the meantime, we do have a game or two to play here. And we're going to be playing Tron. Only this time, we're not the baddies. This is Temur Tron, and we are playing Pauper. So, Tron in this format is it's the big bad enemy guy. It's the boogeyman. It's the one that people don't really enjoy all that much. There are 2 types of people in Pauper: people that want Tron banned and people that are evil. Basically, or something in Tron banned, not Tron itself. Tron itself is fine, and I'm about to show you why by probably losing with this. So, yeah, it's blue-white Tron. It's rainbow Tron at this point. They're running all the colors. But what we want to do here is we want to play Tron and do Tron things. So we have expedition maps, we have chromatic stars, we have chromatic spheres, we have ancient stirrings. We are looking to find our Tron pieces and get them online ASAP. Now this is a lot like the modern version of Tron, but unlike the normal version of Tron in Pauper. Normal version of Tron in Pauper is a slow control deck that basically has a prison finish. Basically it locks your opponent out of the game and it will just win whenever it feels like it, which is, oh, it's awful. It's horrible. It's rotten. I at some point I'm gonna have to play it and I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna absolutely hate it. Also worth noting that it's really easy to get Tron online in this format because the likes of crop rotation are legal. So you can just, you have a Cave of Temptation, or you got a Spare Urza's Mine or something. You just crop rotate into your tower or whatever you need to finish it up, and off you go. So what are we looking to do? Why do we want to play Tron? What are the payoffs for having so much mana so early? And well, there's some pretty good ones. I gotta say, there's some pretty good ones. The archetypical finisher for any deck that has an abundance of mana is Ulamog's Crusher. So it's 8 mana for an 8/8, which doesn't sound that great by itself, and it attacks each combat of Fable, which also doesn't sound that great. However, it's got Annihilator too. So whenever it attacks, defending player sacrifices 2 permanents. It's pretty sick. It's pretty good. We then also have some of the other big finishers here. Is Wretched Griff, 7 mana for a 3/4 with Emerge, 5 in a blue, which we won't really use that much because we don't really need to. But when you cast this spell, so it's on cast, you draw a card. And to be honest, a 3/4 flyer is actually very, very powerful in this format. It stonewalls Delvers, which is big game, to be honest. We also have some Fault Grinders. So it's 6 in a red for a 4/4 elemental with trample, and when it enters the battlefield, destroy target land. Now you can evoke this instead if you wish, which is perfectly fine too, but generally speaking, we're probably going to be casting it. It's 7 mana. Tron makes 7 mana. We'll probably have something like a Prophetic Prism out. And then we have 4 Mull Drifters because we can fit it into the deck, and it's just a great card, and it's one of the best cards that you can be casting in Modern. Not Modern, Pauper, my mistake. And then we have 2 Fangram Marauders. This deck is also called Fangram Tron after this card. So 5 and a green for 5/5 beast, and whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may gain 5 life. Now we have a ton of artifacts that we sack. These are the legs, so we elemental sub-theme going on. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. I like it. So yeah, this is a big piece. So if we get a Fangram Marauder out, unlike Tron in Modern, we probably won't die to burn, because all we have to do is just crack a couple of eggs and then we gain like 10 life. And then what are they going to do? They're starting to get in a 5/5 and we're nearly back at starting life total. You know, so that's pretty good. Then in terms of interaction, we have 1 Journey to Nowhere. It's basically an O-ring effect, but only for creatures. We also have 1 O-ring. It's just a catch-all. We have 2 Flame Slash because we don't care about... We play everything at sorcery speed because everything we do is just so impactful. Like when we start casting our big stuff, kind of doesn't matter. So Flame Slash is ideal. It's a little bit more damage than Bolt. We don't need additional damage to go face. That's fine. We also have 1 Pulse of Marasa, 2 and a green. For an instant, return target creature or land card from the graveyard to its owner's hand. You gain 6 life. So this works nicely with the likes of Evoke on Mull Drifter and Fault Grinder. If you do have to evoke them, you can get them back. Or if something gets killed, you can just go get it back. Our other finisher, by the way, is Rolling Thunder. X red for a sorcery, deal X damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. And we have, oh yes, my favorite part, Fierce Empath. So this is a 1/1 elf for 3 mana. But when it enters the battlefield, you search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 6 or greater. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. So this gets all of your win conditions, basically. It gets your Fangram Marauders, your Wretched Griffs, your Fault Grinders, your Ulamog Crushers. It's sick. It's really good. It's really, really good. And then after that, the mana base is real straightforward. We have the 12 Tron lands. We have 2 Haunt of Fengraf to allow us to return creatures back to our hand if we need them. And then we have 4 Cave of Temptation, because this is like the Unknown Shores or Painted Bluffs or whatever, except it also has the ability to throw counters onto something if we need it. So that's sweet too. In the sideboard, we've quite a few white cards actually, to be honest, but I'll bring this out quite wide because it's really wide for some reason. We've got a couple of cops, Circle of Protection green and Circle of Protection red, to help deal against Stompy mostly, and then also burn here if we need it. Prismatic Strands to basically fog a couple of times if we need it. We've Coalition Honor Guard. This will come down against particularly the likes of Bogles, because if this is out, they have to cast their auras onto Coalition Honor Guard instead. We have Seal of Removal as a way to just bounce stuff if we need it. Creatures, we have 2 Negate, and the art doesn't want to show up for some reason. There we go. 2 Negate as protection against counters or whatever we might need. We have 1 Electrickery to deal with the likes of Elves or other small go wide decks. 1 Ancient Grudge for affinity and that kind of thing. 1 Pulse of Marasa, because gaining 6 life and getting something back from the graveyard is very, very good against the likes of Burn or other aggro decks. We've 1 Tranquility, which destroys all enchantments, which is also good against Bogles. Another Fangram Marauder, and 1 Relic of Progenitors for graveyard hate. That's it. Let's jump into a quick game and let's have a chat. Let's have a chat about what we have seen so far in terms of Ikoria. I am very hyped. This basically, Stephen Trapexium on Twitter had only mentioned earlier on, just before I went on here, was this set is basically Monster Hunter in paper Magic, and I'm like, you know what, you're right. Also, that makes it sound way better. It already seemed good, but that really lined it up for me. Yeah, it's really sick. I'm really looking forward to seeing what else we get now. Oh, I need a drink. All this talking making my mouth dry. We're in a game. All right, we won. Oh, Tron doing Tron things. Let's go. Honestly, like Tron mulls pretty well. I'm pretty sure we'd mull this. Like it's like we've got stuff, but well, I don't know. Will we mull this? Let's see if we go like land star. Next time we don't draw something, we star. We get yeah. You know what? You know what? This is actually pretty good. This is actually pretty good. It doesn't have Tron, and I know we do want to get Tron, but we have a lot of ways to find Tron. We also have some interaction, so I'm kind of okay with that. Yeah, like this definitely finds us a piece. These might find us a piece. This is probably going to find us a piece, and then we have a payoff and interaction. Yeah, this is actually all right, especially if we're on the play. Watch out. This is going to be burn, and I'm going to find no Fangra and Marauder here. Guarantee it. Okay. I think I want to start with a star because we can crack it, draw a card, and play a map off of it and stuff anyway. Or we can crack it if we don't naturally draw a land here. We can crack it for green and get a Stirrings, I think, going. Maybe. Yeah, that seems alright. What are you paying for with... It said they were paying costs with no lands out. And I'm like, what am I playing against? Okay, that definitely didn't want to draw that. I'm going to add green. Oh, God. Alright. Stirrings. Same hate and Pauper? No, not at all. Not even close. It basically sees no play. It basically sees no play. I'm gonna. I think I want a sphere here because if I need to, then I can crack it and try and Journey to Nowhere that next turn. I think that's the way I want to go. Because if they're all in on this one Trailblazer, then I'm in a pretty good position, I think. If you can find a deck, by the way, that works well with Ancient Stirrings in Pauper, go for it, because yeah, it's very, very good. It's very, very good. Also, Stirrings is not really getting any hate anymore in Modern because Opal's gone. People just aren't playing artifact decks anymore, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, they're getting very aggressive. Getting incredibly aggressive. Like, normally I'd hold on to that in case they've like some way of doing something. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like now's a good time to sack this for white and draw a card, play a Cave of Temptation. That's kind of nice. Play Journey to Nowhere. Here. Do this. Do that. Do the other. Put this on here. Yeah, let's go. Oh, love it. And then we play a map. Just like we wrote it up. This is beautiful. We can evoke a Muldrifter next turn if we don't draw anything of use. If we naturally draw a Tron land, I'd probably hold up map activation. But yeah, once upon a time was the thing. But I mean, this is the thing. Like, it's not even particularly good anymore in the likes of Titan or anything like that, because you're only going to find your lands and stuff, which are like, you're running so many lands in those decks now anyway that it kind of doesn't matter. So, oh, that that's interesting. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna crack this by tapping this and this. Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to do it this way, but it's no big deal. I'll get a mine. By the way, nobody talked to me about how not all the Urza lands are matching, because I did not select them. That was Mana Traders. So if you want to give out to anybody for giving me the wrong one, Mine and tower. Oh, well, I guess tower. Any order. Sure. I mean, we might just get there the old-fashioned way, casting our spells normally for the normal mana costs. Okay, they found another Trailblazer. They finally have another threat. I feel like they're a bit too far behind at this stage, though. It will be 10 out of 10 and very typical Tron if we just top decked Power Plant. Oh! Oh, Tron doing Tron things. Wow. Wow. I want to clip this bit. This is Tron doing Tron things. Let's go. What do I want to do? So I've 9 mana. You know what? Let's just get this over with, yeah? I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? If you have some removal for this, that's fine. But like, I have another. Yeah. Tron doing Tron things. I mean, I don't know what else to say. All right, Coalition Honor Guards are really good here. Really, really good here. I think Prismatic Strands seems real good as well. Because they're not gonna like they're gonna be swinging in a couple of times with like a huge problem of some sort. I'm not mad on the Destroy All enchantments, even though they do run like Sentinel's Eyes and maybe it's good. Honestly, I feel like the Flame Slashes are not actually that great because I don't think they do enough, but could be wrong. I'm okay with Seal of Removal actually. I'm good with that. What did I pull out here? I think I'm going to pull out the Fault Grinders. I think they're the less good win con in this matchup. Got 3 more cuts to make. What 1-drops have we got? No, we kind of need all those. I actually think I'm going to drop a Flame Slash because one of their main win conditions is Laguna Band Trailblazer, and that's a 0/4. And if it gets one thing targeted onto it, it's too big for Flame Slash. Yeah, I actually think Flame Slash out. Maybe just a Mull Drifter. Run it like that. That's probably fine. Maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong. It like Mull Drifter feels like it's a little slow, I think. But we'll see. Okay, so what we got? We've quite a nice hand. We've got 2 of our sideboard cards. We've got an eventual payoff, and we have 2 pseudo eggs, and 1 Tron land already. Yeah, this is a perfectly fine hand. The fact that we have the white sideboard cards and the Prophetic Prism in our opener is beautiful. If we don't see a 1-drop here, that's very good for us. Sphere, pass the turn. I'm very okay with Skyguard because they didn't play anything on 1. I'm very okay with cracking these for just to draw a card because we have the Prophetic Prism to give us colored mana if we need it anyway. So I'm okay with that. So I'm actually going to crack this first. I'm going to crack this for green in case we get, because we're not going to cast either of these, but in case we get an Ancient Stirrings, which we did. Nice. I've played Tron once or twice before. Can't quite call myself a degenerate in having not played Tron. I'll get a mine. Any order. Then I will play this. Nope. I'm not able to play a Wretched Griff on turn 2, unfortunately. But I'll play a Sphere, and I'll pass turn. So far, this feels pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It feels pretty good. Like, just ignoring what our opponent's doing, and just killing them. Feels real good. You're a cartouche. Yep. I quite like these. I really like the cartouche cycle, by the way. In I really like the cartouche cycle from Amonkhet, because Amonkhet was one of the first. Actually, Amonkhet was the first set that I was properly playing Magic in, and it was some of the first auras that I'd come across, and they had like inherent value on them and other cool stuff that they do. So that was pretty cool. Secluded Step, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Rolling Thunder ain't gonna do it for us here. So I'm okay with tapping this, sacking this again for a green in case we get a Stirrings. If we don't, it's a Cave of Temptation. I'm gonna play that. Could have done that a different way. I could have actually paid the green and the tower to play Prophetic Prism, but instead I'm going to, because that way if we drew it into a Tron land we would have been able to play it this turn. So instead I'm going to play green and this, play a Prophetic Prism, draw a card, draw the other Tron land. No, okay. Yeah, and then pass turn, and then just hope we're not dead. That's basically how this goes. We probably won't be able to do a whole lot of digging this turn because we're probably going to have to hold up this Prismatic Strands. Now, if they just have like 2 mutagenic growths, we're probably dead. No, okay, cool. I like it. Seeker of the Way. I really like Seeker of the Way. And Trailblazer. Sure, okay. So they didn't have what we were fearing, which is very good. Yeah, we can't really do anything on this. We don't really have any options here. We kind of have to hunt a Fengraf, pass the turn, hold up Prismatic Strands. We might just be dead here. This is just a straight up race on both sides, to be honest. One I'm not entirely comfortable about us winning either. If they get the right start, we just get steamrolled. So okay, huge swing for the fences here. So let's just add white, tap, tap, Prismatic Strands, protection, or prevent all damage from white. Then this turn we can play a Coalition Honor Guard and flashback Prismatic Strands if we need to, which means that we get 2 turns of protection, which is quite nice. They also can't pump their things any bigger with Coalition Honor Guard, so that's nice too. Okay, so we Coalition Honor Guard. Top this for white. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Yep. So unless they have a way to kill that now, we'll be able to fog another turn. It doesn't really do much for us though, is the only thing. It basically just gives us another draw. After this, I think the best thing that we can do is we can untap. Oh yeah, we can untap Evoke Muldrifter if we find. What do we need to find to stay alive then? We would be able to evoke Muldrifter next turn. If we draw a power plant, we can then play a Wretched Griff draw card, chump for a turn, then hopefully untap and maybe kill the Akron Skyguard, but well, they had the journey to nowhere anyway. That's for sure. Yep, that works pretty well against us. I think post board might actually be a good idea to bring in the destroy all enchantments. Prevent damage from white. All right. Cool. You're just not bothered attacking now? That's fine. That is okay. Okay. Draw good. O-ring. O-ring doesn't do it by itself. We're going to have to get real lucky with... Gonna have to get real lucky here. Actually, I think I have to tap the Urza's Mine here because I think we have to tap the Urza's Mine for this one. Welcome 1B. Update Stream Decker. Oh, sorry. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I knew there was something I forgot today. Yes, let's evoke this. I think we needed to be able to take care of two things there. Yeah, I think we are ripping in peps there. I'm gonna paste deck list and then I'll be able to get you going here now. Temur Tron. Bear with me, I'm just getting the deck list sorted here. Where are we looking? Here we go. Boom. That should have it done there now, I believe. I'm going to double check it. Yeah, so I'm going to bring in Tranquility. That makes sense. Everything we had seemed fine, to be perfectly honest. Everything we had seemed fine. I think Fanground is just not good here, to be honest. Yeah, I think I'll keep one. That's probably fine. They just get way bigger than we do. Like, can't really do much about it. Good to hear you love the Pauper content. Thanks for coming along and saying that. I appreciate it. I would love to play first. I would absolutely love to play first. We have two mines, which we can crop rotate one of them. That's fine. We have interaction. Yeah, this is okay. It's not perfect, but it's fine. It's fine with two mines. I don't know why people still don't play this deck. Like, I know like if you're gonna play Tron, you go and play like Dinrova Tron or whatever it's called now, Rainbow Tron, something Tron, Ristic Tron. I don't know. There's loads of awful versions, but the just play like eggs and big dumb creatures still just works really well. I'm gonna sack this for green. Draw a card. Playing Urza's Mine. I think I just double Chromatic Star here. And then I pass. Because next turn we can draw two cards with Chromatic Star. That's two more looks at a land. And if we get one of the lands, then we can crop rotate the other one. Crop rotate the second mine for the other one at that point. So like yeah. Seems good. Oh, they didn't attack with the 0/4 to send a message. Okay, that's nice. So that's an additional draw again. So I'm gonna sack this for green. Sack. Let's just yield to that. Okay, not perfect, but we'll make do. Sack and add green. Okay, still no good. That's okay though. I'm going to tap colorless, play Chromatic Sphere. I'm gonna play Fengraf. I'm gonna tap this for colorless. Sack this to add green. Okay, so we have a tower, so we can now crop rotate a mine into a power plant, and then next turn we have Tron, and we can still play a Prophetic Prism now. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Look at that. 10 out of 10. That was a lot of game actions. Yep, Sentinelize is a great addition for that deck. Quite like it. It's helpful that we're not playing against counter spells. For sure. Like, I'm pretty sure we'll still just lose to Delver. So, Ethereal Armor, it's getting chunky. It's getting chunky. I'm gonna have to probably take care of one of these. Probably the Trailblazer this turn, I'd imagine. That's what we might have to spend our time doing, but yeah, I can live with that. I'm not super okay with the 5/9 flying or first strike vigilance. I'd rather that not happen. Okay, and step. Let's go. Sweet. Okay, cool. So we can Chromatic Sphere for 1. That's cool. We can Urza's Tower and filter 1 for white. And then we can O-Ring. Make them have it if they have it. If they have a God's Willing. Please don't have a God's Willing. Please don't have a God's Willing. It's like the only O-Ring in the deck. Oh, you have it. Emerge Unscathed. That's not good. That's actually even better. That's awful. Oh god, no. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. This is the kind of thing on how this deck loses, because we can't really play at instant speed. We have to sort of just deal with it. It's nice that they had to name, or that they had to give protection from white and lose the auras. That's kind of nice, but they've still got a reasonable ground in which to work with. I think I'm just going to pass the turn here. I don't think it's worth cracking the sphere, because then we can't hold up strands. Which if they just untapped and went crazy here, I'd be pretty sure I'd want to be doing this. Alright. Let's see what our opponent has in store for us this turn. Okay. Protection from white. Sure. Doesn't stop Prismatic Strands, but that's okay. We might be in trouble here. We might be in trouble. Oh, big stretch. I think they're considering going all in. It feels like they have a couple more pump spells, and they're just hesitating because they're trying to think whether it's worth risking it now. To be honest, it almost always is against this kind of deck. Almost always worth it. Like, make them have it, essentially. Gonna sack this for white, draw a card, and then tap this Prismatic Strands. Whoop whoop. Prevent damage from white. I'm gonna lose mana, that's okay. Okay, end step. Draw something good. Power plant's okay. How much mana I got now? 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 mana? I think I want a Prophetic Prism. Draw a card, see what I get. Cave of Temptation, not great. Now, time to work this out. Do I want to cast Wretched Griff here? What will that give me potentially? It'll give me another one. So I have 7 mana, 8 mana. It means I won't be able to cast Prismatic Strands this turn, but I can do some chumping if it means that I can get some stuff sorted. Try and get somewhere. I think it's probably our best bet. I don't like it, but holding a Prismatic Strands basically kind of does the same thing, sort of. It just gives us another draw, essentially. That's a pretty good draw. It doesn't get us out of things, but I mean, we can very easily just lose this turn. Very easily just lose this turn. But gotta do what we gotta do. Alright. At least we have the Haunted Friend Graph, so if we start to stabilize, we can pull back the Wretched Griff and just cast it again. That's not a big deal. I'm not too concerned about chump blockers. I'm kind of okay with that. Feels like they have a journey or something. Okay. Excuse me. Sure. I'm going to start yielding to some of these. There's too many of them. Sure. 610's pretty buff. Pretty buff. I too have a double-digit booty. Alright, let's block. Take 3. Yeah, no? Blockers? Let's go. Another Trailblazer, sure, that's... Okay, so it's a good sign that they don't have a whole lot more gas. So if we can deal with what's on the board, we're in pretty good shape. I think I'm gonna definitely cast the Muldrifter, because that way we have a blocker as well. We draw 2. We do something with the cards that we draw. Rolling Thunder is going to be handy for the following turn, I think. Do I need access to other colors of mana this turn? I have access to one with the Prophetic Prism. Let me see if I could just drag this to one side a little bit more. Just get that in the corner, maybe. So I've got one color with Prophetic Prism. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I have this, it's 6 mana. And we could do 2 colors right now. I think that's probably better than the additional point of mana that I won't spend here. So I think I'm going to add green. I'm going to tap this. And I'll Stirrings. That's unfortunate. I think I tapped that incorrectly, actually. I should have probably tapped Power Plant or Mine instead. I'll get this map. And I think we're just passing turn. Passing turn, hoping for the best. This will give us Prismatic Strands so that we can not die immediately, which is something, but... Combat. Alright, in you go. Honestly, I think I'm going to save the Prismatic Strands if this is how they're doing it. I think I'm okay with just jumping here. If they try to blow me out, I can still use strands. So, yeah. I'm fine with just a simple chump. No big deal. Yep. Sacred Cat. Really like Sacred Cat. Really like it. All right, another stirrings. Okay, so what are we gonna do? Let's tap. So we could activate Fengraf with Urza's Tower, get back either Wretched Griff or Mole Drifter, which seems reasonable, but doesn't really do anything. I think I just want to up my mana right now. I think how I want to do this is I want to use the tower to play the map and crack it. And I'll go get I think I'm just getting another tower. And then I'm going to tap this. I have to be careful in case they have an instant speed disenchant effect. I think I have to play around that. So I think I'm going to actually do it this way. I'm going to add a green through this. Ancient Stirrings. Get a Crusher. Any order. Then I got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. I can cast it now, but then if they have anything to deal with it, I just die. So I'm not okay with doing that. So I think I'm just going to waste the mana that's in my pool and pass the turn. Okay. Let's bring up this graveyard. So they're going to attack with these. This is just enough mana. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap everything. I'm going to tap this for white. I'm going to play Prismatic Strands. And then with the other 3 mana left over, I'm going to... Oh, okay. They're just going to concede. That's fine. I think at this point, like, we will generate an awful lot of mana. We'll get back either Muldrifter or Wretched Griff. We will start basically just drawing more and more cards, and I think that's kind of it for that match. We at some point will be able to find probably our Coalition Honor Guard or something, and then we'll be able to flash back Prismatic Strands twice, and then by that stage we'll have drawn enough in to be able to Rolling Thunder for destroy the board, essentially. So we got 2 pieces and a map, which is just gross, to be honest. And then we have 2 payoffs as well. This is the hardest in on Tron that you can probably have. So I'm pretty in on this. Hate seeing red though. What is this? What is this? Maniforged Cinder, Hybrid Rakdos for 1/1, Elemental Shaman. Pay 1 to add black or red. Activate this ability no more than 3 times each turn. Yeah, sure. I'm excited to find out what our opponent's doing. What is this? End step. Yep. Okay, so we got another Tron piece. It was just a piece we already had. No big deal, but that's fine. And let's pass the turn. Oh. Is this some sort of hybrid mana tribal? Oh my. What? Okay. Okay, is the Maniforged Cinder to help with the mana generation on the BTE? I don't understand. I do not understand where you're going with this, opponent. I need to see more of this deck. I want to just stay alive for as long as I can now and find out what you're doing. Tower and yeah, pass turn. They're getting aggressive, and that's concerning. That's definitely something I... What? Abundant Growth. Sure. Is there payoffs for the different color mana pips? I know Domain Zoo is a thing, but I've never seen Maniforged Cinder in it. Deadshot Minotaur. What? I'm thoroughly confused. I'm very thoroughly confused. Yeah, combat. Hit me for 5. That's all G. Sorry, I'm just gonna bring the deck list out of the way here because I kind of want to make note of the cards that I'm seeing here in case we don't see what the main game plan is. I can look it up later. Let's get a mine. So Mana Forge, Cinder, BTE, and Deadshot Minotaur. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I've stopped on my upkeep for some reason. Okay, mine. I think it's just safe to play this out. I'm very confused by what our opponent has here. What are they doing? I'm really unsure. Yeah. We're a little bit low on colored mana now is the only thing. We've got access to 1 green. Full stop. So these either feel like they're going to be some sort of enchantment payoff or they're just playing rainbow aggro or something. I'd like unsure. Very unsure. I'm happy to do some blocking. Manamorphose? What is going on? Seal of Fire. Yeah, sure. That's okay. Yeah, if you want to kill the Griff, that's yep. Go right ahead. I got a pulse with its name on it. So what? This is double strike. I'm okay. Very confused. It's clearly some sort of aggro deck, but like what? Okay, so Cave of Temptation is pretty good because we can now use this to we can pulse Wretched Griff, cast Sphere, crack Sphere, play Fierce Empath. Probably the best thing, I think. Yeah, let's tap this for green. Filter it through. Pulse, target this. 6 life. Play this. Crack this for green, draw a card. Then play Fierce Empath. Like, I'm not in a good position at all, really, but kind of should try and do something. I'm not sure. Is Fault Grinder any good here? Probably not. Because, like, sure, it'll blow up one of these lands with an abundant growth on it, but so far it doesn't seem to have any use. So, Willmox Crusher's real bad here because we need defense. Wretched Griff means we don't have to rely on any colors. I think that just might be the better option, maybe. It's not a great one, but yep, over to you. I think that's as efficient as we could have been there. Cycling Deadshot Minotaur. Yep, you got it. Still very confused as to what they're doing with all these cards, though. It's like aggro Jund. I don't know. Okay, so they can pump this one time. This isn't great. I think I just block here. Take 5. Still not feeling great about it. Young Wolf. It really feels like we're missing the payoff here. What do we draw? What do we draw? Another mine. Okay. Well, we're going to be playing Tower. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've 11 mana. I think Stirrings is one of our better options here. But still not great. I'm going to do it anyway. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure we're just in serious trouble here, so... how much mana have we got? 1, 3, 9. Can play a Prophetic Prism. Draw, maybe get a Muldrifter. Cast off of it. That way we don't have to blind name blue with Chromatic Star. And hope that it's that. Yeah, it's probably better, but not great. I think I want to tap a Tower for this. Draw cards. Another Griff, Jesus. Okay, well, clearly wants us to play a Griff, so let's do it. 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. We won't be able to cast 2 Griffs next turn. We're a mana short. It's not ideal, but do what we can. Three, 4, 5, 6. I kind of want to block this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Force the pump, and even then it's still a trade, but yeah. We're at 2. Oh god. Oh god. Stop playing creatures. Stop playing creatures. Stop it. Okay. I mean, see what we can do. Wow. Drawing an awful lot of lands here. Is that just us dead? Yeah, I think we're just dead. Can't really do anything against this. Yep. Time to go to game 2. After this one, we'll go through the spoilers properly, by the way. Let's begin sideboarding. What are we going to do? Well, I think Prismatic Strands make sense. Buy us a bit of time. Thankfully, Pro Green and Pro Red both work pretty well here. So I think that's okay. Actually, Pro Green seems a bit loose still. Seal removal, again, seems fine. I'm not against Relic, but... because it does deal... it cantrips and it deals with... Riker, but I haven't really seen any other graveyard synergies, so I don't think it's all that good. Maybe I think the Crushers are actually just not good here. I really think the Crushers just aren't great. There's not a whole lot we can cut, really. Coalition Honor Guard doesn't seem great because the only thing that we saw is Ranker. The things that say enchant land still have to enchant land, so it can't target a flag bearer, I believe. So Pulse might be worth it. Maybe. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna change around my win cons. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave one Fault Grinder in, because being able to blow up one of the lands with the thing on it so they can't get mana that easily might be handy. But I also don't want to fill up too much on big chonkers and not actually be able to win the game. Rolling Thunder is a nice little board wipe if we get to Tron and don't have a way to win yet. Feel like Fierce Empath doesn't do enough here, but maybe it does. Muldrifter again seems slow, so I'm gonna pull one. I don't want to pull any more, really, but because I think having 10 win conditions is reasonable. So you don't really want to be cutting the cantrips either, because the whole thing that makes Tron decent is yeah, I think it's just a Fierce Empath. There are fewer targets for it now that we've sort of swapped things around. I think that's what I want to do. Oh, as soon as I click submit. All right. Thanks opponent. All right. Well, I guess we can have a quick look through the spoilers now. Also, there could be new ones that I haven't seen yet, which is quite sweet. Very excited for this. So, let's start back at the start very quickly, and go into the ones that we want to talk about that we haven't really talked about here. So if anyone wants me to talk about either Huntmaster Liger or Illuna Apex of Wishes, absolutely go ahead. I quite like Illuna myself. 2 in Temur colors for a 6/6 Beast Elemental Dinosaur, which is as wild as its art. Mutate for 6 mana, Flying Trample, and whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. Put that card into the battlefield or into your hand. That's pretty cool. So you can run like ramp spells and stuff. You can run like rampant growth and all this kind of stuff, and they're not permanent cards. And then you can just play this and exile down until you find some other massive thing. It could be another Illuna. It could be the downside would be it could be another Illuna, but it could be an Emrakul or something. You know, it'd be pretty sweet. What else is there? I quite like this Zagoth Mamba. It's a black for a 1/1 Nightmare Snake, and whenever it mutates, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-2 until end of turn. I like nice little cheap payoffs for these mutation things. I like this idea. This is the kind of thing that if we were to see it be good, this is how it will happen. Like in constructed formats like Standard or Pioneer, that kind of thing. These are all kind of just fairly standard. They're all like just some draft chaff stuff, so that's okay. I actually quite like Cloud Piercer for Pauper, because I wanted like a Scred red, mono red control style deck to be good, but there's no real good payoffs. There's Beetleback Chief, which is like a really bad Siege Gang commander that doesn't sack things to fire around the place. And then you got Ulamog's Crusher, and that's about it. Like, I like Cloud Piercer because 5/4 with reach. It doesn't die to bolt. It's pretty big. It's pretty well costed, all things considered. You can mutate it onto something smaller if you want. If there's something else in the deck, you know, like Martyr of Ashes or whatever it might be. Yeah, I quite like this. I will be trying this in Pauper. It all depends, honestly, on how Mutate is worded in terms of legality and that kind of stuff, and like the fine details of it. Because if it is the way that I think it is, then it's pretty good. It would have to be kind of like Bestow, though, if you know what I mean. Then yes, so we have Void Beckoner, which I think is really sick and limited because it's a win condition, or if you want, it's 3 mana for give this creature Death Touch and draw a card at instant speed, which is pretty good. Umori the Collector, legendary ooze, And it has Companion as well, like I explained earlier. Each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. So if you have, say, a commander deck and all of your cards are creatures, then you can have Umori as a companion, which means that it is available in exile for you to cast, similar to the command zone, that will allow you to then play that card and have access to it from the start of the game. And when it enters the battlefield, you choose a card type, and cards of the you cast of the chosen type have cost one less to cast. That's pretty decent. That is pretty decent. I quite like that. And what else are we looking at here? I like Grim Dancer. It's kind of like the latest version of like a Vampire Nighthawk kind of thing. So it's 3 mana for a 3/3, and it enters the battlefield with your choice of 2 different counters on it from among Menace, Death Touch, and Lifelink. It's pretty sweet. I quite like that. Really, really good for limited. I don't think that kind of thing is good enough for constructed anymore, but weirder things have happened, I guess. The Essence Scatter there, looking beautiful as always. Snapdrag's Apex of the Hunt is 1 in Mardu colors for a 3/5 double strike with Mutate as well. It's a Dinosaur Cat Nightmare, by the way. And whenever this creature mutates, it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and you gain 4 life. So this is like a super lightning helix that just happens whenever it mutates. And you can mutate the same thing multiple times as well, which is pretty sick. I can't remember the name of this one. There we go. Game Master Destroyer. 3 and a green for a 4/4 with Reach and Trample. Fine stats, I guess. But it has Mutate for 1 green, and whenever this creature mutates, you destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. It means it's potentially repeatable artifact or enchantment type. I really like Sprite Dragon, by the way. Blue-red, 1/1, Fairy Dragon with flying and haste, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Sprite Dragon. And if this is how they're handling prowess from now on, because they don't want to have prowess anymore, they want to have a different version or a different kind of way to deal with it. So if it's whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it, that is totally fine by me. But it's likely not. It's likely just for the odd card. Because the thing that they normally do, the reason that they don't like prowess is because it's breaking older formats. Just look at like Vintage and Monastery Mentor, that kind of thing. So that's pretty sick. We've got Brokos, Apex of Forever, 2 and Sultai for a 6/6 with Mutate again and has Trample. And you may cast Brokos, Apex of Forever from your graveyard using its Mutate ability. That's pretty sweet. I like that a lot. And then this one, here we go. Crystal Giant, 3 for a 3/3. And at the beginning of your turn, at the beginning of combat on your turn, randomly choose one of the counters that aren't on Crystal Giant of the 10 counters that are in this set. So it's like it's Lifelink, Death Touch, Menace, Flying, Trample, all those kind of ones, which is pretty sweet. So it's like it's not going to be good. I guarantee it. It's not going to be good, but it's fun. So that's all cool, right? Here's another one of the Toho crossover cards. Biollante, 2 and Abzan colors for a legendary Nightmare Beast. And it's a 5/5 again with Mutate, and it's got Death Touch and Lifelink. And whenever this creature mutates, you return any number of creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's pretty gross. It's pretty gross, and I'm fairly sure there are a number of ridiculous combos that you'd be able to get with that. So that's a thing. That's pretty sweet. I like that. We then have yes. This is one of the ones that I'm really excited about. I quite like this. This is Yidaro, Wandering Monster. 5 red for an 8/8 dinosaur turtle, and it's legendary. And it has Trample and Haste. It's a turtle with haste. And it has cycling for 1 in a red. Nothing particularly special about its abilities or anything like that. No keywords or anything other than what I've just said. Except when you cycle Yidaro Wandering Monster, you shuffle it into your library from your graveyard. If you've cycled a card named Yadara Wandering Monster 4 or more times in this game, you put it onto the battlefield from your graveyard instead. So you just cycle the Yadara Wandering Monster 4 times, and you just basically get it for free. Anyway, it is hilarious and awesome. I love it. This I'm very excited to play around with. Very excited. After that, we got a couple of things. This is a giant moth cocoon. It's 1 for an O2 egg, and whenever this creature mutates, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's it. It's very simple, very straightforward. I feel like this is going to be a good payoff for having mutate, and if there are good common mutation options, then this might actually be Pauper playable as well. So we're going to keep an eye out on mutate, in particular for Pauper, I think. And what is this one? Yes, this one is ridiculous. Phoenix Perfect Life Form is 2 red for a 4/4 Phoenix with flying and mutate for 3 and a red. And whenever this creature mutates, you create a feather token, which has pay 1 and sacrifice it to return target Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Return target Phoenix. Now, we have to be sure on the wording on that, but it seems like that could be any Phoenix. So that could be any number of things. That could be any shapeshifter. So we could get Morophon back if we wanted to in other formats, older formats. We could build Phoenix Tribal. This, in my opinion, is a great payoff for being very Phoenix heavy, I think. So you could play this maybe in Pioneer. You can have Thrill of Possibility and Cathartic Reunion, all that kind of stuff. Just keep pitching a load of stuff, and then just mutate Phoenix and get those feather counters and just bring back some Phoenixes. That seems pretty good. I'm pretty on board with that. Then we've got some other cool stuff. I said this on Twitter today, is the most menacing creature in all of Magic that I've seen so far. It's black-red for a 2/2 Nightmare Dinosaur with Menace. And whenever a creature you control with Menace becomes blocked, defending player sacrifices a creature blocking it. You pay black and a red for creatures you control with Menace to get +1/+0 until end of turn. So, essentially, it's got Menace. But also, it's kind of double Menace. Because your opponent has to pretty much block with either 3 creatures, or one of them on their own has to be big enough to be able to kill this as well. So it forces some awkward combat, and then anything with Menace just gets a pump. This feels really, really good. I believe Barnseye earlier was talking about this going in Sir Gwyn. It seems like a very easy include. Very easy include. Unfortunately, Classification is not quite as good as I wanted it to be. Classification, 5 green for an aura with enchant creature, and when it enters the battlefield, here's the bad part, tap enchanted creature. And I know that they did this because of Storm Herald. I know they did this specifically because of Storm Herald. And enchanted creature gets +20/+20. So it is the biggest power granting aura that they've ever printed in Magic, but it has a downside of not only costing 7 mana, but it also taps the creature. So you can get around that by, putting it on something, it taps the creature, and then something else untaps the creature, then you can go to combat and stuff. It feels really convoluted. It feels definitely more on the janky side of fun than the this might actually be viable kind of side. But hey, it's definitely going to cause some brewing to happen for sure. Kobler the Titan Ape, or basically King Kong, is 3 and triple green for 7/6 legendary ape, and when it enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. And then whenever it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls, which is gross. That's repeatable artifact and enchantment hate. And then pay 1 and a green to return target human you control to its owner's hand, and Kobler gains indestructible until end of turn. Now, that's very flavorful and all. I haven't been able to find a particularly gross way of abusing that last part, but there might be a way. It's real sweet though. Real sweet. Nope, I don't want to go down to the commander cards again. Thanks very much. What else have we got? It was down here that I was at, yeah. Is there anything else that's worth running through here? That's the old death. Keikabat. 4 mana for a 3/3 flying lifelinker with mutate for 6. When it mutates, destroy target creature or planeswalker your opponent controls. This is actually really sweet. If there's a way to very cheaply mutate, excuse me. If there's a way to very cheaply mutate this, it could be very, very good. Is pretty sick. But we will see, won't we? Okay, so yeah, like I said, Arcane Signet is there. These are a couple of cards that honestly I don't think I'll even see them showing up in Pauper, but they're probably decent for limited. Well, actually, Blood Curdle is definitely decent for limited. Destroy target creature, put a menace counter on a creature you control, so basically gains menace and kill something. And then Shredded Sails, destroy target artifact, deal 4 damage to target creature with flying or cycling 2. This is something you can main deck in limited because just put this in and just loot it away. If it's not important, just loot it away. It's fine. It's a 2 mana cantrip, then it's grand. Don't worry about it. Back for More is pretty sick. It's just under my head here. 4 mana Golgari colors for an instant. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and when you do, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So you can do this at instant speed and just be like, well, before blocks, reanimate this, and then kill something, and then block something else. That seems fun. I don't think it's going to be very good, though. But we'll see. Actually, someone's put a comment here. Instant speed reanimator with removal. Nice. Not amazing, but nice. And I think that's probably best described. General's Enforcer is Orzhov colors for 2/3 human soldier. Legendary humans you control of indestructible. The first thing that came to my mind was this probably goes in Kathas, legendary tribal. A friend of mine has the deck and they're pretty excited about it. And you can pay 4 mana to exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, you create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. It's fine. It's fine. It's pretty good. In constructed formats, probably not very good in general. I mean, if you're really, really concerned about keeping like a Thalia alive or something in modern humans, but let's be real, no one's playing humans anymore. It's not particularly good. But it's there. It's there, I guess. Voracious Great Shark is my new best friend after my poor little water sausage was insta-banned in Commander. It's 5 mana for 5/4, Shark with Flash, and when it enters the battlefield, you counter target artifact or creature spell. I am going to be putting this into Flash in Standard, I would say. It's pretty sick. Pretty sick. Then Death's Oasis is Abzan colors for an enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, then return a creature card with lesser converted mana cost than the creature that died from your graveyard to your hand. So you can just basically cycle and churning creatures around. And you can pay 1 and sacrifice this enchantment to gain life equal to the greatest converted mana cost among creatures you control. Yeah, it's pretty good. We have Archipelagor here. 7 for a 7/7 Leviathan with mutate 6. And whenever this creature mutates, tap up to X target creatures, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. So it's probably pretty good in limited. We're gonna have to see how the limited format goes because it's weird. It's definitely weird because so far we've just seen pretty much all just like 10 mana spells. So we're gonna have to see how this goes, but it's definitely nuts. It's definitely nuts. Nate, bud, welcome along. I'm trying to power through the spoilers as we go, mostly because I've still got some Tron to play. Yeah, we have these crystals. These crystals are sick. These crystals are really sick. So they tap for shard colors. Is it shard colors? No, wedge colors? Wedge colors. They tap for wedge colors. Jeskai, Mardu, Sultai, Temur, and Abzan. But they also cycle, which is sweet. And I think these are actually better than like manoliths and stuff in if you can fit them into your deck in Commander. Because you don't really want to be top decking mana rocks late in the game. You want to cycle through and get to something, so they're sick. I think this card is actually insane. Call of the Death Dweller is 3 for a sorcery. Return up to 2 target creature cards with total converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a Death Touch counter on either of them, and then put a Menace counter on either of them. This is silly good. This is silly good. Because, first of all, you're already going to be like cycling creatures and all this kind of stuff anyway. You'll be able to get some of them back. You'll be able to make them better. And like this could essentially be like ridiculous card advantage, but also in other formats this can work really well. Emma Partlow on Twitter had suggested that this go into Mardu Death Shadow in Modern, and I think that's a really good place for it, a really spot on place for it, because it's able to get the creatures, but it's not able to protect them particularly well. So because it doesn't have access to Stubborn Tunnel, so use this to just get them back, outgrind your opponent by having more threats than they can deal with, you know. So I think this is really cool. Cycling is actually just the best mechanic, Nate. You are factually correct. You are absolutely correct on that one. Absolutely. When it comes to this one, keep safe. 1 in a blue instant. Counter target spell that targets a permanent you control and draw a card. Yep. I love this. Normally these spells only cost 1 mana, sometimes 2, and they don't draw a card, and that's why they're not very good. They're narrow and they don't replace themselves. This still narrow, but it replaces itself in the right deck, like for example in Pauper against like Inside Out or Is It Blitz or something like this. This is really good. This is really good, because you need to make sure that you maintain card velocity there, which is sick. Cheville Bane of Monsters is Bounty Hunter, black and green for a 1/3 human rogue, with Death Touch, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if your opponents control no permanents with bounty counters on them, put a bounty counter on target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. And whenever a permanent an opponent controls with a bounty counter on it dies, you gain 3 life and draw a card. So essentially, you're given a bounty every turn, and if you kill it, you get rewarded. That's pretty sick. Sounds like Veil of Summertime. Kind of, but it's much more narrow because it has to counter spells. It doesn't give something hexproof. That's what makes that more ridiculous. But yeah, very similar. Got a couple of like good limited cards, which I'm not mad on, to be perfectly honest. Nothing crazy good here. Apart from the art in this one over in the corner here. It looks like I want to say a red panda or a raccoon of some sort mixed with like a pangolin or something, which looks really sick. And then we were gifted with 2 of these Mythos cards, Mythos of Snapdax and Mythos of Nethroi, which are obviously the big huge creature cards that we went through earlier on, where each player on Snapdax here, sorcery, each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents they control, and then sacrifices the rest. If black and red was spent to cast a spell, you choose the permanents for each player instead. So you get to just, you get like it. This is sick. This is just really sick. First of all, the art. Let's talk about that. The art, cave paintings, unreal, savage, looks so good. Seb kills it in every single piece, every single time. Yeah. They are absolutely dope. They really are. But this is sick because on its own, it's pretty good. But if you pay Mardu colors for this, you get to choose what your opponent gets to keep, and you can like ruin their day. And then Mythos of Nethroi, basically the way it's worded is weird, but it's an instant that says destroy target creature. If green-white was spent to cast a spell, you can instead target a non-land permanent, basically. I know that they choose wording in a specific way because it's to make sure that it fits templating and all this kind of stuff, but sometimes it can sound a bit weird, and I think it does on Mythos of Nethroi. So, yeah, it's gross. That's as far as we've gotten. I'm gonna that was from when I started the stream, and we're not far from the end of the stream now, so I'm gonna refresh and see if we got anything new. We do. Oh, we've got a few. Oh god, we've got a bunch of cards. All right. Looks like this is the rest of the stream. Okay, what the hell does this do? Monstrous Path. 4 and a green for a sorcery. Target creature gets +7/+7 until end of turn. Target creature must block if able this turn, and cycling too. I'm loving cycling. I just love cycling. It's just so good. All the time, cycling is so good. I like this. I'm not mad on it, to be honest. I'm not... Like, even in limited, it's like... Sure, it gives a huge boost, but like... I don't know. We'll have to see how this one plays out, I think. But it's basically removal? I don't know. We'll see. Now we've got Proud Wild Bhandar with a cute little beast. 2 and 2 hybrid Gruul mana for a 4/3 human warrior with trample. And creatures you control with trample have you may have this creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. So this is like Thorn Elemental tribal, basically. This is actually really good. This is gonna definitely show up in a bunch of decks. In singleton formats for sure. That's really sweet. I like this. I like this a lot. Not normally my cup of tea, but it's really good. The art is cool. This little guy is sweet. Look at him. Little dude. I want a little beast on my shoulder. It'd be great. Well, we found the card that I'm suddenly excited about. Dreamtail Heron. 4 and a blue for a 3/4 elemental bird with mutate, 3 and a blue. And it has flying. And whenever this creature mutates, draw a card. I could see this... Again, it depends on how mutate is worded once we look at the release notes at the end. If this works kind of like Bestow, I would be pretty hype with having this in Pauper, I would say. Even as a one-off in some sort of like more control-y deck. That's really cool. I like it. This looks like destroy target artifact or enchantment and cycling. Yep, that's exactly what it is. I quite like that too. This is always pretty cool. Pretty sure it doesn't drop off as a creature if the creature on top dies. I'm pretty sure that is correct as well, but I think it's more a case of how does it work, because we haven't had the release notes. How does it work if the mutate is on the stack and it's going to go onto a creature and that creature is made an invalid target? That hasn't been specified yet. If it has, I'd love to see a link to an article for sure, but I have not seen it yet. That's why I'm holding off on how mutate works fully. If it works well, I'm going to be very hype about it. But if you basically mutate, if mutate basically means that you can get blown out like an aura, it's going to be unplayable. It's going to be unplayable in every form, for the most part. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see when the release notes come out and we get a proper run of it. But I'm really hoping it works kind of like Bestow. I know it's not going to be exactly because it's a different mechanic. Otherwise, it would have called it Bestow or said it's functionally the same or whatever. But apparently, it doesn't resolve. I haven't seen anything about it, but I will reserve judgment for now. Wilt is cool. We got a big dinosaur beast here by the looks of it. Yeah, it turns out my Italian is pretty good. Dinosauro Besta. Quartz Forest Crusher sounds it sounds badass. Need to point that out. It sounds badass. Quartz Forest Crusher looks badass. This looks like an enemy that you would see in like Final Fantasy VIII, I think. Something like that. Kind of reminds me of the Red Dragons or the Ruby Dragons. 6/6 Trampler for 5 mana is pretty alright. And whenever one or more creatures you control with trample deal combat damage to a player, you create an XX green dinosaur beast token with trample, where X is the damage dealt to that player? What? So this just snowballs. This just totally snowballs out of control. Yeah, like if you even get hit for 2, they make a 2/2. If you get hit for 5, they make a 5/5. This is cool. It doesn't have immediate value, so therefore it's hot garbage against like Teferi Time Raveler. But like, what are you gonna do? You know. This is sweet. This is real sweet though. I'm looking forward to playing Brawl with a lot of this. To be honest, I'm really looking forward to playing Brawl with a lot of this. This looks sweet. Dire Tactics. Let's have a look here. White and black. For an instant, exile target creature. If you don't control a human, you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. Does this go into Mardu Death's Shadow in Modern? Because this is just 2 mana, exile a creature, get closer to your game plan. This might be a one-off, maybe? It's worth testing. It's definitely worth testing. Because in that deck you can also control a human, because you have the Ranger Captain Navios that goes and searches for your Death Shadow in the first place. This might be actually good. This might be good. I'd keep an eye on this. Dire Tactics. This might be good. Narrow, for sure. Narrow, but could be good. Yeah, maybe. Fiend Artisan is up next. And I like the look of it. I really like the look of this little nightmare. 2 hybrid Golgari mana for a 1/1 nightmare. And it gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. I'm in. I love it. Let's go. I'm in. you pay X and a hybrid Golgari and tap it and sacrifice another creature to search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less. Put it into the battlefield and shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. So, yeah, that's kind of like pod on a creature that also has benefits from... Yeah, this seems pretty good. This seems real good. You do have to wait until you can untap with it, because you have to tap it and you need another creature and stuff, but I like it. It's an engine in and of itself. Like, it gets bigger by doing the thing it does, so I can see it being used somewhere. I just don't know where. Like, it's definitely something that will go into like Commander decks or whatever, because this is basically just like super tutor. So yeah, I mean, that's real sweet. I like it. I like Fiend Artisan. Then we got Cavern Whisperer. I'm particularly interested in the commons because I'm, you know, going on a big thing on Pauper at the moment. So Cavern Whisperer is 4 and a black for a 4/4 nightmare with mutate, 3 and a black, and it has menace. Whenever this creature mutates, each opponent discards a card. Okay, each opponent means that it's going to be better in multiplayer games, so Commander and stuff is pretty good. Apologies, getting dry mouth. This is okay. This is okay. I don't see this showing up in or making waves in Pauper, to be honest. But again, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. I always get excited by 1-drops though. Flourishing Fox. Look at this beautiful, beautiful fox. I think I love it. I adore this. I adore this. I just read it. Whenever you cycle another card, you put a +1/+1 counter on Flourishing Fox. I'm in. And it cycles itself for 1. This is my jam right here. This card, that card. This, I love it. This is my new favorite 1-drop. End of sentence. So sweet. Okay, yeah, looks like I'm playing white. I could be playing a lot of white. Yeah, I'm in. I'm definitely in on that one. Definitely in on that one. And I see an Izzet card, so I'm already excited. Channeled Force. 2 and Izzet colors for an instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, discard X cards. Target player draws X cards. Channel Force deals X damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. This might actually be like real good in some decks. This could be real good in like, as a, maybe only like a singleton copy, but this could go into like a Phoenix style deck in like standard, maybe. Once we stop getting run over by like Nissa and stuff and Uro, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Because I mean, like, pitch a couple Phoenixes, draw a bunch of cards, kill that thing, whatever. Like that's pretty good, and it also targets Planeswalker. Like that's, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that. I don't know what this does. Devouring Bite. This is probably a fight, is it? Oh, 2 and a green for a sorcery. As an additional cost, reveal a creature card from your hand. Devouring Bite deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to the revealed card's power. Yep, that's going to be good and limited. That's about it, I'd say. Maybe if Mono Green Stampede becomes a thing, this might be a sideboard card if they need to like kill stuff, but otherwise I don't think we're going to see it at all. But it's cool. It's cool. We got another Mythos. Oh, this looks good. Mythos of Vadrok. 2 red for a sorcery. Mythos of Vadrok deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers. Okay. If white and blue was spent to cast the spell, until your next turn, those permanents can't attack or block and their activated abilities can't be activated. Well, this is an insane card in Commander already, because you can just like, you just put this into like any Jeskai deck basically. And this just is it's removal. It's you could potentially like essentially time walk people by like shutting down a bunch of their stuff for a turn. This is sweet. I really like this. I really like this. It's sorcery, which isn't great, but like, you know, it can't be perfect. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. We then have Fertilid. So we've seen Fertilid before. This is a reprint. 2 and a green for 0/0 elemental, and it enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. You pay 1 and a green and remove a +1/+1 counter. Target player searches their library for a basic land card, puts it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffles their library. That's okay. Dureena Magistrate, 1 and a white for a 1/3 human wizard. Okay, this is, wow, this is, your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. So this is a very much focused on taxing and hate bears kind of strategies. This is real good. This shuts off adventure creatures. This shuts off escape. This shuts off anything. This shuts off like flashback. It shuts off jumpstart. It shuts off so many things. So many things. This shuts off a lot of things. My God. I personally can't be happy for the existence of this because one of my favorite things in the world is flashback. But some people like these things, so you know, I can get behind that. I can get behind that. It's very strong. It's very strong. This is probably going to go into humans in modern. Again, like I said earlier, no one's really playing humans anymore, but that doesn't really matter. We might be starting to get close to an actual like D&T strategy in historic of all places, because they have Thalia there as well, and then we have Dureena Magistrate. Yeah, this is pretty good. This is a very good card. We're gonna see more of this, I can safely say, I think. Then we've got Massenausterben, which is definitely, oh, Mass Extinction. Oh wow. Okay. Whoa. 3 and a black for a sorcery. Choose odd or even. Exile all creatures with a converted mana cost of the chosen trait. Huh. Okay. That's really cool. I really like this. So like, you could, this is definitely something that people are going to be like mad for in like Commander and stuff, for sure. But if anyone decides to build, you know, that deck, or the card that we were talking about earlier, the big Kraken that can only cast, or if you want companion, you have to have a deck made of only even cards. This is pretty silly for that, against that. So it also goes in that deck, but you know, that's sweet. What else we got? Neutralize. Oh, I love it. I love it. They've made the best cancel. They have made the best cancel. This, obviously, without, you know, excluding things like disallow and stuff, but this is great. Neutralize. 1 blue for an instant counter target spell. Cycling 2. I love you, Neutralize. I love you. I know it seems like it's not that big of a deal. It's a cancel with slight upside, but I don't think you understand how I don't think a lot of people understand how good putting attacking cycling onto like most cards is just silly good. I really like this. I expect to be putting this into probably Is It Flash? I play Is It Flash in Standard, so I'll probably put it in there. I really like that a lot. Boon of the Wish Giver. 4 blue for a sorcery. Draw 4 cards and cycling 1. I don't hate it. I also can see this going into like Temur Wreck. Because early game you just cycle this away. Whatever. Get rid of it. And then later in the game you've got a wreck out and you're just like draw 4 cards, untap, do your worst. Like it's pretty good. With Essence Scatter in this set, a lot of the cycling cards are going against this great bluff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the fact that last one has cycling, I'm very happy about that. The Neutralize. What else we got? Skull Prophet. Black-green for a 3/1 human druid that can tap to add either black or green, or put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. This is really cool. This definitely is going to be a cool budget option to go into multiple commander decks, for sure. I don't know if we will see it in Standard, but it's also going to be good in Brawl, obviously, because there are some decks that want the whole graveyard thing. You know, you've got a Zoni and that kind of stuff, so that's cool. Yeah, it's also a decent attacker. Like, yeah, I quite like this, to be honest. Then we got Chittering Harvester. 5 and a black for a 4/6 nightmare with mutate and 4 and a black. And whenever this creature mutates, each opponent sacrifices a creature. I like this. Quite a bit. I can see this going into certain commander decks and stuff as well. It seems like a lot of this stuff, like this is the standard set we're talking about here, but I can see a lot of these cards being focused for commander as well. Definitely not against that. I'm all for having more tools for fun. But yeah, that's pretty sweet too. Let's do one final refresh and see if we got anything else. We've 2 more. Okay. General Kudrow of Draneth. 1 and Orzhov colors for a 3/3 legendary human soldier. Oh, other humans you control get +1/+1. Okay. Whenever General Kudrow of Draneth or another human enters the battlefield under your control, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. Oh my god. Pay 2 and sacrifice 2 humans to destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. So this is certainly an include for humans. This is an easy include for humans because, well, it's 5 colors already. They can just slam it in. It's a lord, so they can definitely want it. It has graveyard hate. It's a lord. You can destroy larger creatures like titans and that kind of thing. This is pretty good. In case people don't know, one of my most hated decks in Modern is humans. So whenever I see a good human being printed, I get sad. This is a good human. The last one, Draneth Magistrate, was a good human. I don't know how to feel about this. It's real strong. And then also Phase Dolphin, 2 and a blue for a 1/4 elemental whale. And whenever Phase Dolphin attacks, another attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. I like this for limited. The big toughness is quite nice. Can start attacking in early and get a few free shots in. I'm okay with this. Yeah. Yep, that's pretty cool. That's basically all we got so far. So I'm gonna unfortunately have to leave it there. We've come to time on the stream, but yeah. So what I'm gonna do at some point soon, because I know a couple of people were asking for Temur Tron, and we didn't get as much in because of we didn't get as much in as we wanted to because of spoiler season. That's okay though. I will make up for this. What did we learn from this though? I mean, sometimes Tron does Tron things, you know. Sometimes Tron does Tron things, and you just get there. And then sometimes your opponent plays a couple of like cheap 2-power creatures, and you just die. But hey, that happens too. I quite like this. This is my favorite version of Tron in Pauper by a very wide margin. Very, very wide margin. I wouldn't even say that I like the other ones, to be perfectly honest. It's incredibly consistent. It's incredibly powerful. I think it's one of the more fun decks to play, I think, in the format. Now with that said, I've got a list of like, I'd say about 90 decks at this point for Pauper. And I'm only like 6 through it. But it's very, very good. I know Pauper very, very well. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm going through all the decks that I know of and haven't yet played or want to play and that kind of thing. So this is another one on the list. This is definitely fun. If you want to just play big things, this is how to do it, essentially. I wouldn't pass too much in terms of saying what I would change about it or what I would do differently, because to be perfectly honest, like, I don't think I got enough in to be able to judge it fairly. So I'm going to reserve judgment for the next time in which I play it, which should hopefully be soon enough. Because again, it's only being delayed because I had to go through spoiler stuff as well. So, but we will certainly go back to it. Certainly go back to it for sure. That is it for myself today, however. I'm going to sign off in a moment. Before that, if you're not yet following me on Twitter, hop over there and do so. If you missed any of this or want to catch up with it or want to check out the spoiler things, I'm going to have this VOD up later on YouTube. And anything else to add? I don't think there's a whole lot else. No. I've got a Patreon. I've got a coffee link and all that kind of stuff down below if you want to help out or whatever. That is fine too. If you're not yet following, please do so. Sub on YouTube as well. Do all the usual, all that kind of stuff. But that is it for myself. Until next time, everybody, take it easy, wash your hands, and keep on janking.